Louise Guedou, Loulou, to everyone who knows her, was born in Ivory Coast, raised between there and Benin, and shaped by cultures where language, food, and ritual mean everything.
So if you're just calling somebody come here, you say blah. When I first came to America, of course I wanted to give everybody kisses on the cheek, because that's what we do. They're gonna put that barrier like, oh, what is she about to do? So you just pound it, and once you pound it, we get this elasticity, and you make like a ball out of it. You accompany that with a soup. That's your futu. But I was kind of used to it, you know. I left my parents so early to go to Benin for school, and that was my dad's decision.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Lloyd, a French Canadian who's called Birmingham, Alabama, home since 2017. Welcome to From Where to Here, the podcast that celebrates the rich diversity of languages, cultures, and the stories that connect us all. Each month, I'll sit down with inspiring guests from different backgrounds to explore their cultures, languages, and tackle some fun in our Truth, Dare, or Debunk segment. Whether you're a language enthusiast, a culture lover, or just curious about the world, you're in the right place. Let's dive into your next favorite cultural adventure. Today on From Where to Here, we're talking about what happens when your heart speaks French, your children speak Franglish, and your life is built between continents. Louise Guedou, Loulou, to everyone who knows her, was born in Ivory Coast, raised between there and Benin, and shaped by cultures where language, food, and ritual mean everything. She grew up speaking French, but also Baoulé, one of 63 dialects in Ivory Coast, and carries the influence of Benin's Fon traditions as well. In 2013, she came to the US through an exchange program where she earned her degree and began building a new version of home. Today, she's a real estate agent, a singer at heart, a mother of 2 bilingual toddlers, and she's intentionally raising her family between languages and cultures alongside her fiancé from Burkina Faso. This conversation is about accents, assumptions, survival, joy, and what it really means to belong in more than one place. Loulou, welcome to From Where to Here.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here. And before we dive into your journey, we're starting with a round of Truth, Dare, or Debunk. So I have 3 colors cards in this bowl, and I'm going to let you hold it here.
Okay.
Now, if you pick a blue, it means truth. You'll share a surprising cultural fact. Red means dare, where you teach me a phrase in your language. And then the black one means debunk. You'll clear up a common stereotype about your culture.
Sure.
Okay, and you'll draw just 1 card at a time, and then whatever color you get, that's the challenge you take on. And I actually will ask you a question or provide the statement where you can maybe expand on it afterwards.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Let's get started.
Got a blue card.
The blue. What is one thing people assume about Ivorians that actually is true?
So people think Ivorians love dancing, and that is actually true. We love having fun, and we know how to dance too.
What kind of music do you dance on?
It's usually the local music is coupe décalé or zouglou, and we also dance on Afrobeats. We also love zouk from Haiti. Sometimes American music too.
Love it. How would you describe it in terms of the movements?
It's rough. It's not easy to. It's not easy at all, but there's a lot of variety in this. Some dance moves are pretty slow. Some of them are pretty agitated, more rough, more difficult to learn. So I can show you something.
Yeah. What, like maybe one artist that you really like or that have a song?
Personally, I like, she's a female. Her name is José. I also like Rosalind Layo. In terms of which artist was very popular, it's actually Arafat DJ. He passed away a couple of years ago. But yeah, he was the legend there.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to add that to my cultural playlist now.
Sure.
Why don't you tell us another truth about Ivorian culture?
Hospitality is a huge deal in Ivory Coast. Whenever you go to Ivory Coast, you always feel welcomed. Like people would treat you like a king or a queen. Hospitality is a huge deal over there.
And when you go back as a tourist or as someone who hasn't visited in a long time, are they as equally hospitable or more hospitable, or it's mainly with strangers?
Equally. As long as you're coming from some other place, they will treat you like, because they want to make sure that you are feeling comfortable. They want to make sure that you feel at home. So yeah, they will treat you very well.
How is this demonstrated?
There are many ways, but the most common way is people will literally invite you into their home to offer you, lunch, dinner, whatever, and have fun.
Wow, that's really kind. What's another truth about the Ivorian culture, maybe that you can share with us?
That's a general, thing. Everyone knows that there's no way you can go to Ivory Coast and not have fun. Ivorians we just love having fun.
That's fun to have fun with just little things, basically.
Yes.
Okay. Where does that joy come from, you think? Is there a spiritual connotation or like tied in history of some way?
I would say both. I don't know. It's just part of our genes, maybe. People in Ivory Coast can literally go out on a Saturday night to the club or to whatever event and be back home the following day at noon. Have you seen that before? That's how bad they have fun.
Oh, that's great. Okay, let's draw another card now.
All right. Red card.
The red card. So there to teach me an expression everyone should know in your language. So how about you teach us how to greet someone properly?
Okay. So first of all, I have two different languages. One is from Ivory Coast, which is my mom's side, and the other one is from Benin, which is my dad's side. So let's start with Ivory Coast.
Okay.
So over there, my dialect, out of 63 dialects in the country, is Ballet. Now, the most common way to greet somebody would be Auntikba.
Auntikba.
Auntikba, which means how are you doing? You doing okay? And in Fon, which is my dialect from Benin, it will be Afonganjia. Afonganjia. If you want to translate Afonganjia word to word, it would be, did you sleep well? But it's actually good morning.
Oh.
Yeah, the word to word, it would translate to, did you sleep well? Did you have a good night? But it's actually good morning.
And you say, okay, so it could be any time in Afonganjia?
Oh no, Afonganjia will be in the morning. In the morning, that will be in the morning.
Any time up to lunchtime, you could say that.
Oh yeah.
Like not just early morning or...
Yes.
Is it more formal or casual?
I wouldn't say both. I don't think we have a difference between formal and casual when it comes to dialects. It's just one way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for both Ballet and Fon? For
both Ballet and
So you could say that to your family, friends, but also strangers.
Absolutely.
As you come in a restaurant, let's say.
Absolutely. I guess the only way to make it formal would be to add the person's name to it. For example, if I'm asking my uncle, if he had a good night, instead of saying Afonganjia, I would say Uncle Afonganjia. It will make it more formal to say uncle before I say it.
And uncle is his name?
No, uncle is just, uncle, my uncle.
Oh.
Yeah, like my dad's brother.
So you'll say, uncle, good morning.
Yeah. Yes.
That's how it would translate. What about, can you teach us food phrases?
In Ballet, which is again from Ivory Coast, come eat with me, or come eat, would translate to bla dilike.
Bla dilike.
Because bla is come. So if you're just calling somebody come or come here, you say bla. So dilike, D is food. So bla dilike.
Bla dilike.
Yes. And then in Fon, which is from Benin, that would translate to wa dunu. Because in Fon, wa is come. So come in Ballet is bla. And come in Fon is wa.
Blah, wa.
Yes.
Wa. I love how that all sounds. This is really good. It probably ties into hospitality, how people in your culture like having people to eat, or that's how they are hospitable. So it just makes sense that even you pick that sentence to teach. I love that. Maybe one more. How do you show gratefulness? So let's say you have been hospitable with me by inviting me to your house. How do I show appreciation, gratefulness for that hospitality?
Sure. So if you want to say thank you in Ballet, you're going to say Momo. 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 That's how you say thank you. Yes. And you can't just say Momo. You gotta put the intonation in there. Momo. Momo. Yes. And then in Fon, it's Enochenwe.
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 Very good. Thank you for sharing those. We have Debunk left at this point, the black card. What is a stereotype about your country that's completely false? And I'm gonna bring some stereotypes for you here, and maybe you can expand and debunk them. So the first one I have is, because Vodou is widely practiced in Benin, many people assume witchcraft or danger. Can you explain why?
Vodou has always been portrayed as something that is used to harm people. The easy word is witchcraft. People think of it as witchcraft. And I think this is due to the fact that the Vodou religion uses a lot of things like, animals and stuff that have to do with sacrificing and stuff like that. But in reality, Vodou is actually a religion, just like Christianity or Islam. It is not used to harm only, like people think. Vodou is also used to do good things, to actually bless people, solve family traditional issues. So this is not true.
How does it feel when people are afraid of that type of practice, and it's tied into part of your culture?
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's a little bit frustrating because it makes people scared to actually go to Benin. But Benin is actually a beautiful country to visit. And when you go to Benin, people over there are so nice. They are so welcoming, just like in Ivory Coast. So we probably have people somewhere in the world who are missing out on this just because they think if they go to Benin, something's gonna happen to them, or there's witchcraft there, there's Vodou there, they don't want to risk their life, but they can actually go. It's a beautiful country to visit. It has a lot of history there, especially if you go to, there's a city there called Guedou. These people literally kept a lot of historical things related to the slavery era. You can actually see those sites even today and learn a lot about the history there. So go to Benin if you have a chance. There's no witchcraft. Nobody's gonna kill you.
Do they teach that history in school in Benin?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Absolutely. I went to school there. I did my high school in Benin, and they actually taught us. That's where I learned about Vodou. That's where I learned that Vodou was actually a religion in Benin. So they will teach you everything about what happened in the past, how we got to nowadays, whatever we're doing today, how we got to that point. They will teach you everything about it.
Second stereotype for you. Africa is not a country.
Oh my God.
Hey, let's address it now. So
Yes. Every time someone asks me, oh, you have an accent, where are you from? And I say, I'm from Ivory Coast. I'm really not sure if they hear Africa or if they actually hear Ivory Coast, but they will always be like, oh, you from Africa. I know somebody from Kenya. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But Kenya is a whole different country. Ivory Coast is a whole different country in West Africa. So these are two different countries in the continent called Africa. So Africa is not a country. It's a continent.
Do you have maybe one more stereotype you'd like to debunk about your culture?
Maybe the thing about Ballet women, And this is actually true. This
Okay.
is actually the truth. It's not just a stereotype, it's the truth. Ballet women love dating people from other cultures. I don't think it's a choice, but that's how we are, I guess. I don't think we plan on doing that. But if you go to Ivory Coast and you meet a lady who is married to somebody from some other country, usually she's Baoulé. I don't know how that happens, but
where
she's
does it
usually
stand?
Baoulé. I don't know. It's just a thing. I guess we're very open-minded.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought maybe there's like something that is particularly adored in a specific culture nearby, or
Who knows?
but yeah, okay. Well,
Who
fun
knows?
fact.
But yes,
Yeah.
Baoulé women, usually when you see, multicultural people, if you ask them, oh, where are you from? They'll usually tell you, my mom is Baoulé, my dad is from France.
Yeah.
My dad is from Italy. My dad is from whatever, and the mom is usually Baoulé.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's actually a joke over there. People use it as a joke, and they'll be like, "Oh, come on, Baoulé ladies, why y'all love dating other people like that?" But yeah, it's a thing. I don't know where this comes from.
Okay. Well, in your case, you got engaged
I'm also
to a
dating
man from
somebody who's
Burkina
not from
Faso.
Ivory Coast, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, well,
Yeah.
awesome, Louise. That wraps up the Truth Dare and Debunk segment. Thanks for playing along.
You are welcome.
You were born in Ivory Coast.
Yes.
You moved to Benin for high school, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Went back home to an American school program, and then came to the US in 2013 through an exchange partnership. And you chose Alabama, partly because of the warm weather.
Yes.
What do you remember most about arriving in America, in the United States?
Whew, I remember a lot of things. I have so many memories, but I mostly remember how lost I was, because in Ivory Coast, the first language there is French. People don't speak English in Ivory Coast at all, except for people who have been abroad, like me. Local people is French or whatever dialects they speak. So I was completely lost. I knew a few words, and I also knew how to use sentences, but I wasn't very confident when it came to having a whole conversation with an American person yet, especially because of the accents.
Yes. Let's talk about the accent. Yeah. What was it that, did you first think that Americans spoke the same English
Yes.
everywhere with the same accent?
Yes, I really thought that all Americans spoke the same way, but no, that is not true. It's only when I got here that I realized that there's like a southern accent, northern accent, western accent, and whatever. So one thing I want to talk about is how I spent the very first years in America, in school, learning English and going to school. And then when I started going out, going to the store and all that, I realized that English was completely different than what I was hearing in class. People were speaking faster sometimes, and sometimes they were even asking me very, easy stuff, but I just wouldn't understand it just because of the accent. For example, somebody would ask me, hey, how you doing today? And I would literally be like, excuse me, what? And then they'll repeat themselves and be like, how you doing today? I would still be lost until the person goes like, how are you doing today? Then I'm like, oh, I'm doing great.
Fantastic. Thanks for asking. Yeah.
So yeah, that took me, I don't know how many years, but it took me some time to finally understand and catch the speed.
I mean, it's hard at first. It's just that's not how you previously heard it. So then it comes as a shock almost.
Yes.
Like, wait,
yes.
I thought I knew how to say these things. And you also did not come alone.
Yes.
Tell us more about that. And was it actually easier, the fact that you didn't come alone, and who was with you?
So we came as a group of, I believe we were 6 students, and that was amazing. It made my life so much easier because in a situation like that, when you are lost, you don't know who to talk to, you don't know who to go to, you don't know where to go, it makes your life so much easier to have somebody to talk to and figure out together how to do those things. So yeah.
Definitely. That's good. That's good that you were able to connect with people that you knew already and kind of like go through maybe more difficult moments.
Exactly. Plus, we were here for the same reasons, school. So,
yes,
you know.
Yes. And you've shared that some people made you doubt your English ability. Like, how did that affect your confidence, especially when you first got there, thinking, well, I know how to speak English, and then you're like kind of doubting yourself. Like, what was that kind of process like?
So initially it did affect my confidence a little bit, because I was like, okay, so you learn English back home, you came here, you still learn English. How come you can't have this conversation where the other person can actually understand what you are saying? So it was a little frustrating at first, but not for too long, because I told myself, go out there and talk to people, because that's the only way. And this is an advice that I want to give to anybody who comes to America and feels like, oh, I don't want to have these conversations, they don't understand me anyway, I don't understand them anyway, I just want to stay in my room. Don't do that. The only way to actually be comfortable speaking English is to have conversations, interactions with local people. So don't be scared. And another thing that I love about Americans, they don't judge. You don't feel judged when you say something wrong. They don't have that look, but French people do. French speakers do. I'm sorry, but we do. If you say something wrong in French, let me use communication, for example, which is communication in English. If you say le communication instead of la communication, the French speaker in the room will be like, no, don't do that. It's not le communication, it's la communication. They're gonna wanna make sure that you say it the right way.
Perfectly.
But I feel like Americans or English speakers, I know they notice that you made a mistake, but you don't see that look. You don't see that judgmental look. They're not going to be like, oh, no. You can't get away with this. You got to say this. They don't do that. They'll just slide with it, which makes me comfortable, which makes you comfortable. So don't be scared. Just go have these conversations and be yourself. Then you're going to be fluent.
I can definitely see that. And about the face expressions, could it be that French are just more expressive?
Maybe, I don't know.
But
I don't know, but usually we would not let that slide. We would be like, oh, no, sweetie, it's actually le,
la.
not la.
Okay,
or la, not le.
Yeah. And I think the advice that you gave can definitely be applied to people learning a different language, a second language. Just go out there, and confidence comes with practice.
Yes.
So if you have the courage to put yourself out there, go talk to strangers in the language that you're learning with locals. That's how you're gonna improve, and you're gonna get your ear used to the actual lingo and the actual intonations that are used by locals.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be able to practice and see, okay, am I able to communicate? And to your point, and gosh, I love that you said that. Like, it's really about just passing the message across. It's not so much having the perfect grammar, because the le or the la, the feminine and masculine, I will still get what you're trying to say, whether you use one of the two determinants.
Yeah.
I call them determinants, but
it's determinants. Yeah, you're correct.
And that's really good. Let's talk about cultural rituals. I really am interested personally to hear about this one. So in West Africa, Ivory Coast, 3 kisses. Benin, 4 kisses.
Yes.
In France and in Quebec, 2 kisses.
2 kisses, okay.
So what was it like adjusting to American greetings?
Yeah, that was hard too. Because when I first came to America, of course, I wanted to give everybody kisses on the cheek, because that's what we do in Ivory Coast. And then you will notice how the person is like you know, they're gonna put that barrier like, oh, what is she about to do? But it didn't take me long to understand that, you know, after the first two people, you know that you can't kiss people anymore. So that was not a huge adjustment. It was just like, I want to kiss y'all. Why y'all don't want me to kiss you? But it's okay. I guess I have to adapt to the hugs. But yeah. And also another thing is the smile. Americans have that thing where they will smile at you if you walk past somebody, or if you happen to have eye contact with them, they'll be like, you know, they'll give you that smile. That was a little weird to me because I was like, we don't know each other. Why would you not let me kiss your cheek and you will randomly smile at me?
They don't go together in my mind.
Yeah, I was like, why are you even smiling at me? But, you know, now I also do that. I do that too. I guess I'm used to it now.
So were you more used to having a poker face and not
Nothing.
necessarily acknowledging people if you don't know them, basically?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Or if we happen to have eye contact for, you know, for a little longer than usual, then I would just immediately greet you like, hey.
Oh, okay. You go directly in greetings.
Directly
the kisses?
Or kiss you.
So, okay, something that I'm sure many wonder is, how do you determine who to kiss, who to not kiss? Mm-hmm. Do you do, and when I say kiss, I'm meaning the cheek kisses as a greeting. Do you greet stranger the same way you greet your friends, your family? If it's a friend of a friend, let's say a situation where you're meeting them for the first time, you don't know them, but they're friends of your friends. How do you navigate that? Tell us more about it.
Usually, if you go out there, maybe you're at the store or whatever, and you just see somebody randomly, and whatever situation leads both of you to greet each other, it's probably gonna be a handshake, not kisses, because you've never seen the person before. You just met at the store, so no kissing. However, a friend, family members, even friends of friends, they will get that kiss, because even when you're introducing me to somebody for the first time, hey, this is my brother, this is my sister, we'll be like, oh, nice to meet you.
I love it. It's pretty much the same for us. And then and when I say for us, I mean in Quebec, that's kind of how I guess it's the unwritten rule. What about the type of kisses? Oftentimes Americans are like, oh, like how do the kissing works? Like, do you actually give a real kiss? And I'm like, well, no, not really, but what is it in your culture?
So it's just this, on the cheek. Sometimes you don't even have to use your lips, especially when it's not family members or close friends. It's just cheeks against cheeks. Yes. So like, but the mouth is not actually on the person's cheek. It's like both cheeks touching, and you're like, and that's it.
Okay, one more question about the kissing. Do you start with left or right cheek?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. I don't think so.
Do you present the cheek when you do it? Yeah.
Well, it's usually so spontaneous. You know, both people know that it's gonna happen, so they're ready. They're like.
That's how I feel about it too. But then when I get asked a question, I'm like, well, let me think for a second. I don't know.
No, it's just, I don't know. It's natural. It's genuine. It just happens.
I think I lean on the left to present my right cheek.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Love it.
But as long as you don't make a mistake and kiss each other on the lips.
Then you're. Okay, you also grew up from away from your parents at times. You shared that. How did that independence maybe prepare you for surviving or thriving in a different country? Can you share a little bit about that?
It did prepare me a lot, because I feel like if I didn't have that experience in the past, me coming to America for the first time without ever being away from my parents. I mean, it would have been harder, but I was kind of used to it, you know. I left my parents so early to go to Benin for school, and that was my dad's decision. He just decided to send me over there because they have strict school systems over there. They are very strict. Like, they're gonna make sure you actually go to school. You don't suddenly decide you want to do something else. Like, you go to school like you're supposed to, and you get your degree. And yeah, it was pretty strict over there. So that's why my dad sent me there for 7 years before I came back to my parents. So
how old were you at that time?
I was 11 or 10 when I left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Relatively young age to like grow independence.
Yeah.
Like,
and then when I came back, I was 17 or 18. I believe 17. Yeah.
What's the age of becoming an adult in Benin in Ivory Coast?
I believe it's the same. I know for a fact that Ivory Coast is 18. I believe it's the same in Benin. I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I want to switch gears slightly here, and I want to talk about home now. The version that you're building, which you're engaged to someone, as I mentioned, from Burkina Faso, which means your household is already layered culturally.
Yes.
When you imagine your future, like years ago, did you ever picture yourself building a bilingual home in America?
Honestly, I did.
You did?
Because, like I said, I'm Ballet, so.
Okay, fact.
I'm a Ballet lady, and I didn't have any restrictions when it came to the kind of man that I want to be with. Any physical or cultural restrictions. My only restrictions were internal, you know, mindset and stuff like that.
Yes.
But when it comes to physical or especially cultural, I really didn't have any restrictions. I didn't care if he was from Ivory Coast, from Benin, American, Chinese. I really didn't care. So I kind of saw myself being with somebody, especially me living over here. I knew that my chances for being with somebody from Ivory Coast were very little. I knew it was going to be somebody maybe American or African, but not from Ivory Coast. I already knew that. And I guess God blessed me and gave me somebody who's from Burkina Faso, which is right next to Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Does he have family there in Burkina Faso?
Yes, he does. Actually, his whole family, except for his brothers, but the rest of the family is still there.
So whenever do you go back and visit?
Yes, I do every year, except for this year. I didn't go this year. That was actually the first year that I didn't go. But usually we go as a family, all of us, every year. And when we get there, we usually go straight to Ivory Coast. And then from Ivory Coast, we always visit Burkina Faso from there. So, yeah.
How long does your trip last typically?
Oh, it's a long trip. It's a very long trip. So usually you will stop in Europe first, maybe in France or Brussels. And that trip from here to France or Brussels is about 6 hours. No, I'm sorry, 8 hours.
8 hours.
And then from there to Africa is another 6 hours. So that's like about 13 hours.
Yeah, that's a long flight.
Yeah, it's a very long flight. Now, I'm glad there's a few companies out there who they started doing direct flights, and those direct flights are around 9 hours. I haven't tried that yet, but
Okay.
I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, that would
it's
cut
probably
time.
better. Yeah.
How long do you end up staying when you travel?
Usually 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And at home, you mostly speak French with your kids. Was that a decision you made consciously from the beginning? Like, this is a non-negotiable, or did it just happen naturally?
So, yes, it's a decision that I made consciously because in my mind, I want my children to speak both languages. I want them to be fluent in French and English. Now, one thing I noticed is the people that I know who are French speakers, who actually speak French at home with their children, and I'm talking all the time. They speak French a lot. Whenever the children start going to school, I noticed that the children actually start being more fluent in English than French, even though they've been speaking French the whole time. So in my mind, I feel like English will come anyways. And that's why I'm very, hard on the French, because I want them to be fluent in both, not just one. So I speak French at home because I already anticipate that when they start going to school, they will eventually, speak English.
I know you listen to From Where to Here because you're not into surface level travel. You want the story, not just the sights. But let's be honest, breaking the language barrier can be intimidating. That's why I created the 5 phrases that unlock any culture. These are 5 simple phrases designed to pass small talk into real conversations from almost anywhere in the world. Don't just be a tourist, be a connector. You can grab it at fromwheretohearpod.com/5 phrases. That's your shortcut to unlocking real conversations. What a gift that you're giving them. Really?
Yeah.
What are some rituals or maybe just things that you do in the day-to-day that help you keep up with just staying in French mode all the time? Because I can't imagine, like, you speak English also, you speak other languages, and sometimes our mind might just go and, oh, this is the language in which I want to express myself because it feels more natural. So how do you bring yourself back in those moments to be like, I need to speak French and I need to do it. And even if they talk to me back in English, I need to keep it in French.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
So, and yes, we do have rituals and routines. So there's one thing, ever since they were babies, there's a song that I've been singing to them in French. And that song, don't even try to look it up. It doesn't exist.
What? Oh, you made it up.
No, my sister made it up. My sister made it up for her babies. I was very young when she had her babies. She just, can I sing it?
Absolutely.
So she goes, bébé dors, 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 dors. Bébé dort, il dort sur le lit. Si bébé ne dort pas, la petite chatte va l'attraper. And that translates in English to,
oh yes,
baby sleep, 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 sleep. Baby sleep, sleeping in the bed. If baby doesn't sleep, the little cat will catch him. So she kept singing this song, and I know she made it up too. And it just stuck in my mind. I was so young when this was actually happening, but it just stayed in my mind. So when I had my own babies, I started singing that song to them. So they know the song in French because I learned it in French myself. So I sing it in French until today.
Oh,
that's cute. Why I say these babies, they speak Franglish because TV teaches them stuff in English. Other family members, their cousins, they speak English with them. But at home, we speak French. So the kids will say things sometimes like, for example, if my boy wants to say, Mama, open the door, he knows open as ouvre, which is open in French. So he will go like, Mama, ouvre the door. And that's why when people ask me, what language do your children speak? I say, Franglish.
Franglish, that's the answer.
Yes, because they really mix both.
And how old are they now?
The boy is 3. He just turned 3 last Monday. And the girl is about to be 2 next, March the 6th. I think it's going to be Friday.
Oh.
So, Yeah,
That's
they're
great.
very close in age.
Yes, yes. So they can learn really together.
Yes.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And does your fiance speak French? Because you said French at home.
Oh, more than me. Sometimes I forget myself and I speak English, but him, he's very strict on that. He only speaks French with them.
Do they switch depending on who is talking to them?
No, I don't think
It's
so.
maybe still kind of a little bit like, okay, I'm using both because that's what comes naturally.
Yeah, they constantly use both. I honestly think they are a little bit confused right now because one time I remember my boy coming to me with a little car and he said, "Mama, what's this?" And I said car. I said it in English. Like I said, I forget myself sometimes.
Yeah.
I said car and he's like, "No, it's voiture," because he already asked the same question to his dad, and dad said voiture in French. Now he comes to me, he's expecting me to say voiture, and now I say car. So he's like, "No, Mama, it's voiture." I said, "Oh yeah, it's voiture. You're right."
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's going to come and correct you.
Yeah.
That's so cute. Now, I think we have to talk more about food. Because food is never just food. And I know you're a big foodie. You cook a lot of different recipes. If I ask you to describe, and I'm going to mention different cuisine, can you tell me what stand out? Like, what comes to mind as far as like what stand out from that cuisine? So first, if I say Ivory Coast cuisine, what comes to mind?
Futu.
Can you expand on what that is for those who might not be familiar with it?
Futu is basically pounded yam, cassava, or plantain. That's all. So you just pound it, and once you pound it, it will get this elasticity, and you make like a ball out of it. You accompany that with a soup, and that's all. That's your futu.
That's something I want to try.
Yeah, it's really delicious.
I might need your recipe if you're willing to share.
I'll make it for you one day.
Oh my God, that would be a treat. Benin cuisine.
Benin cuisine, I want to say wa.
What is wa?
Wa is a starch. I believe it's cornstarch. Yeah, cornstarch. So you basically boil water, very easy to make. You boil some water and you pour the starch into the water. You keep stirring, and then you wanna, when it starts boiling and cooking and everything, you wanna remove half of the whole mixture, and then pour some more starch in it, and then finally add the other half that you initially removed. You want to add that other half back into the pot and stir again, and then you have your wall.
How long does it take to cook?
About 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. American cuisine.
Wings. Chicken wings.
What kind of sauce? Or if rub, or what's your seasoning of choice on chicken wings?
Well, if it's me, I'm gonna choose hot lemon pepper. I want both in there, the hot sauce and the lemon pepper.
Okay.
Yeah.
French cuisine.
French cuisine has so many stuff coming through my mind right now. Macaron, croissant,
all the sweets.
Risotto.
What kind of risotto?
I don't know.
Like I've had mushroom risotto.
Well,
I don't know if
there was no mushrooms in the ones that I tried, but it had some veggies in there, some meat, of course, the rice, and some cheese.
Yeah, cheesy risotto too.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Okay, love that. Tell me, if each cuisine walked into a room, who would they be? So starting with Ivory Coast.
I didn't quite get the question right.
If each, I know that's a funny one. That's if each cuisine is actually a person, or personifying the cuisine, who walks in the room? If it's Ivory Coast cuisine, who's the person that represents that cuisine in your mind?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tough question to answer. I would say my mom, because she's a great cook. Yeah, if it's Ivory Coast, I would definitely say my mom. Same from Benin. I would still say my mom.
Did she pass down the recipes to you?
Probably, yeah, because I grew up watching her cook. Well, not for too long because again, I left the house around when I was about 10 or 11. So after that, I think it was a natural gift. Yeah, because I only watched them from my first 10 years. But I guess I'm naturally gifted when it comes to cooking.
Yeah. What about American cuisine? Who do you think of?
That's a tough one. I really don't know who to think of. Yeah, there's a guy that I'm thinking about. He's a great cook from Minnesota, but I don't even know his name. I follow him on social media. He's great, but I don't know his name.
Have you cooked any of his recipes?
Yes.
You have?
Yes, I have. I actually cooked like 3 of his recipes, but I haven't recorded. I don't think I recorded his recipe because I usually focus on recording the African ones, the ones that are not American, because I want people here to discover. So usually when I make American dishes, well, if I have time, I'll record it, but if not, it's not a big deal. Yeah.
And when you say recording, is because you share those on your own social media?
Yes.
And I noticed that, and that's what actually from the conversation of having you on the podcast, I love it. And when you're here in the US, how do you recreate those recipes? Do you have access to all the ingredients, spices, or whatever you need to recreate those particular recipes from your culture?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I do not have access to all the ingredients. I do have access to some of them, thanks to the Asian store in Homewood. So there's an Asian store there, Hometown something. It's on Green Springs Highway. They have most of the African ingredients that you need. However, if I have time, I would drive to Atlanta because they do have African stores over there that have everything you need. So that's what I usually do. I would drive to Atlanta maybe once in a while, once a month, and buy a lot of everything I need, and especially things that I know that I cannot find in Alabama. So I would get those from there, and
So you stock up on all the goodies?
I would stock up on everything that I can't find.
What are some ingredients that are harder to find that you have to get out of state?
There's a lot of them. For example, there's one thing that we call, I'm sure everybody who knows that will start laughing from where they are, but we call it sumara. Yeah, that's very hard to find.
And is this a spice?
Well, it's not really a spice. It's locust beans. Locust beans. It is used in Nigerian cuisine, Benin cuisine, and some part of Ivory Coast. Not all cultures in Ivory Coast use that. My culture doesn't normally use it, but because they use it in Benin, and I have a double culture, so
yes, it makes it more rich. Okay, so you did end up cooking with that due to that mixed origin of yours, and that's really good. And when you cook, I'm curious, like, does it bring any type of memories for you? Like, does it take you somewhere else when you actually cook things that are particularly from your culture, whether it's Benin or whether it's Ivory Coast?
Absolutely. It definitely brings me back to those memories when I was younger, sitting next to my mom, cooking at home. I mainly remember her. Every time I cook, I remember her because she's like I said, she's the cooking figure to me, because she's a great cook and she used to cook a lot. So, and I was literally young and sitting there watching her. So, yeah.
Does it even open up to like a version of you before you came to America? It's mostly memories, childhood memories.
Not really. Just a few of them, just when I was back home staying with my mom. Because when I was in Benin, going to school, I wasn't cooking like that. I wasn't this school. It's a school where everybody stays on campus, and you can't go out. It's not like campuses here where you can go out and go to the pizza place or grocery store. You have to stay indoors between those walls. You can't go out at all. So everything is cooked on site. Everything is done on site. So I wasn't really cooking over there. So
okay. And I'm curious now, kind of leaning into the languages on a maybe deeper level. When you speak French, let's say, does it feel like different in your body or in your head, like compared to when you speak English?
It depends on where I am.
Oh, okay.
So when I'm home, I guess I'm comfortable with both languages, but when I'm home and we have guests around, of course, speaking French, it sounds weird. Because I know they can't understand it. Or if we have French speakers, then speaking English starts getting weird. So it depends on who's around and, where I am. Definitely me speaking French at work, when I go to the brokerage, for example, and somebody gives me a call, maybe my mom, and she speaks French, it feels weird. So I usually tell her, Mama, let me call you back when I leave the office, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Because as soon as I say something in French, everybody's like, oh, who's talking?
Yeah. You're getting attention suddenly, and you're like, wait, I didn't mean that. Yeah. Now, has your relationship to your dialect changed over time?
It did greatly.
In what ways?
I literally forgot a lot because, I don't get to speak it. Even when my mom calls me, we speak French. The only time I was speaking my dialects was when I was, with my mom staying at home, and that was a long time ago. And when it comes to my dad's dialect, that was when I was back in Benin, which is also a long time ago. So ever since I've been in America, I haven't gotten the occasion or the opportunity to actually speak either Ballet or Fon. So I'm literally forgetting a lot of it. Yeah, sometimes I'm, how come I don't remember how to say, I want to say something, especially when I talk to my mom in Ballet, I want to say a word and I just realize that, Mom, how to say this word again? And she's like, did you really forget how to say it? And unfortunately, I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, being away from home and then not having to practice it, I guess it does that. And I'm sure deep down it's just in the moment you're like, dang, what is it?
But when I start thinking harder, then the word comes back to my mind. But it's no longer spontaneous, It used to be very spontaneous before, but now I have to, search for the word in my mind and be like, and then I'll find it,
Do you think you will ever teach your kids the dialect as well?
I don't think I will confuse them as much. They already have a lot on their plates right now, but I wouldn't find any problems if they go back home and my mom speaks my dialects with them. That I will really appreciate that. But right now I just feel like they have a lot on their plates. Having to learn 2 languages is not always easy. So if they grow up and they decide they are interested in learning those dialects, I would be very happy.
Yeah,
I would be very happy, but I'm not going to put that pressure on them. Yeah.
Okay. In French, English, you feel like that's the better focus?
Yes, especially because they are international languages. The dialects are not. You will only speak those dialects if you go to Ivory Coast or Benin. And I don't know what the choices will be in the future. I don't even know if they will want to go live there. So, yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. One other thing that's very interesting about the culture that you're from, it's around the weddings.
Yes.
Because in your culture, marriage is not just about 2 people.
Yes.
Both families have to be present. The groom formally asks for the bride's hand. there's a detailed list of things to give the bride, the family of the bride, and that might include clothing, jewelry, money, gifts that have some symbolism. And there's also singing, there are prayers and a lot of celebrations around that event of getting married.
Yes.
Tell us, why is that ceremony so important? And like, what does marriage really represent culturally and religiously and for you and your family?
Yeah. So they are very important, like you said. The reason why I believe is because marriage is not easy sometimes for some people. And then sometime down the line, if unfortunately the couple is going through some challenges, because there were witnesses when they were getting together, those same witnesses can be used to try and make things better if the couple get to the point where they can't fix it on their own.
Wow.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does.
You can literally go back to these people. And when I say these people, I'm talking parents, uncles, aunties, explain the situation, and they can literally help you go to the other partner and be like, you know, you're part of the family. We love you. We were present. We were witnesses when you guys were, you know, building this family. So we want things to get better. Sometimes they have the best words to kind of, you know, remediate the situation and make sure that the couple doesn't get to the point where they want to split or, you know, hate each other or whatever.
Yeah, so it's more than just the romance part.
Yes.
It's really like, hey, you have my whole family backing you up in the same way goes the other way.
Exactly.
Do they have to be married, or does it not matter? Uncles and parents?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
As
typically
long as
they probably are.
Typically they are.
Mm-hmm.
Typically they are. But they don't have to. But most of the time they are.
Okay.
Another reason why this is very important is also because in Africa, a child's education is not just the problem of the parents. It's everybody's concerned. And sometimes we have work, you know, we have things that we need to attend. And that's another reason why the whole family needs to be there, because sometimes you will need them to watch over your children, to go do certain things. And because they were involved in the union, they will be more than happy to, you know, treat your children like they were their own and keep them whenever you can. And things happen in life. You can pass away. Something can happen to you. But because, again, the family was involved, it will be quick for, you know, somebody to claim the child and be like, I watched her grow up. I saw their parents getting together. I'm gonna, you know, raise that child instead of them going to a facility or something. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, so really marriage is a family thing.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
it makes me think of the expression, like, it takes a village to raise a kid, and the way that everyone brings, and it's an addition to what the parents are able to offer.
Yes.
It seems like your family and his family really need to be united, despite the culture differences, maybe, and despite, I don't know, any other things that would prevent that unity.
Exactly.
Like, what are your thoughts, or have you seen always the families blending very well in your experience? Like, was it easy for you and your...
Even in Africa, there are cases where both families just don't get along. Even though they also went through the whole ceremony, the whole traditional wedding thing, they just don't get along. And you will oftentimes see those members of the family, you know, uncles, whatever, try to bring everybody together, But yeah, there are cases where whatever the problem is just a bigger problem than being united.
So could it be an option, or could it be a problem if the families don't get along, but the couple does?
Yes.
It could be.
This is usually, and this happens a lot. There are marriages that actually failed just because both families don't get along. That's how important it is for us. So we would try, oftentimes we would try to make it, easier we would try to bring everybody together. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, you know? And I've seen people literally split a whole marriage just for that. I wouldn't do that, but I've seen it. I've seen people splitting just because the families don't get along. That's how much of a big deal it is.
Yeah. So does it start with all the gifting? Can you maybe share a little bit more? Like, how much money is it the groom all the time spending on the bride's family?
It's always the groom, never the bride.
What are we talking here? Like $1,000, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000? I don't know.
It depends. It depends. But
what is the man willing to offer? I guess
whatever they are willing to offer. But there's always a limit. There's always an amount that you can't go under, because it will be like insulting the family. Literally. But it really depends on the groom's financial situation. But the more you give, the more you show the family that you're going to treat the daughter well. So some people do crazy amounts depending on the financial situation.
What's the minimum threshold? We're just talking.
And even that depends on the culture.
Okay,
for example, let's take my example. My Ballet side, they don't ask much. My Benin side, they ask a lot. So we followed the Benin way.
But what is a lot, or what is not much?
I think Ballet, how much were they asking? I don't even remember, but that was not a lot. It was very minimal.
Like a range maybe of like.
Okay, for the money itself, I want to say nothing less than, let's say, $50 and up.
Oh, okay.
$50 and up. But, everybody got their own ways.
But that's like the one that's not a lot, right? That when you say that.
I would consider $50 insulting.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But some people are in really, they're struggling. They just can't do more than that. And they'll just do that. Okay,
let's take a different approach on this. So let's say I'm someone that wants to get a Ballet lady. Ballet or Benin. Benin ask for more.
Yes.
So I want to get that Benin. I want to marry her. She's the love of my life. Yeah. Now I need to impress her family.
Yeah.
What would you recommend that I invest money-wise, but also gift-wise?
Money-wise, definitely no less than $2,000.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Because if you do anything less than that, it's not going to be that impressive. If you really want to impress, you got to do more than $2,000.
Okay. Let's double it up.
And that's just for the money. Because you also bring other stuff along with the money. You bring some traditional attires, traditional clothes. Well, in my case, I got the money. I'm not going to disclose.
No, that's okay.
But I got the money. I got some purses, jewelry, the traditional clothings. There's also some traditional stuff. These are not expensive at all, but they have to be present. They have like a traditional significance. They have to be there. It's like nuts. I really don't know how to call it in English, but it's like some nuts.
How do you call it in your language?
Cola. Cola. Yeah. Back home we call it cola. They have to be there.
What does it represent? Anything specific?
What does it represent again? I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
But the uncles and stuff, they will lay it on the ground, and it's like they will ask the ancestors especially if you lost your dad, like in my situation, if they agree to the union, because even if they are not physically there, we will still ask their permission, and the positioning of the collar will tell you if the dad actually agrees or not. Yes.
Oh wow, so that's serious.
Yes, they can literally read it, and they would tell you ahead of time. Okay, if the collar is facing this way or that way, it's bad. If 2 of those 5 collars, this is just an example, 5, it could be 6, whatever, are facing that way, it's good or whatever, then they would throw it in front of everybody. In my case, the collar faces the right way. So I was like, whoo.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, you can be in for a great surprise then.
Yes.
Or not so good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you got the purses, you got the money, you got the traditional clothing, the cola was there.
The cola. And then you also have to bring something for the dad, even if he passed away. You have to do it just like if he was alive. So you bring something for dad, you bring something for mom. And when I say something, I mean money and clothing. You can bring other stuff if you want, but there's a minimum. And usually the bride's family will tell you what they need. They will tell you what needs to be. They will give you the required list.
Okay, that was my next question. Because if you don't really know them yet, it could be tricky to know what to buy to make an impression.
Yes.
But maybe there's like the list. And once you know what the list is, so lists are personalized, and then you can go by that list. So it makes it easier. It
makes it so much easier. And on that list, they will tell you what's required. Like you can skip that. And they'll also tell you what's optional. And then you can do everything. You can choose amongst the optional, but the required, you have to provide those.
And if you don't, you're not going to get the blessing to marry.
Yeah. They're going to be a little frustrated, but everything is negotiable, just like in real estate.
Okay. Is that part of your culture too? How like there's negotiations happening?
Yes.
Oh, tell us more about that.
Like, for example, during the wedding, if you give money and the bride's family feel like that envelope is not big enough, then you got to send your uncles and aunties to negotiate with the bride's family, because if you don't provide the amount, they're not going to give you their daughters. So, and there's another interesting thing during that ceremony where the bride doesn't come out right away. So while all these negotiations are being done, the singing, the cheering, the whatever, the conversations, the bride is not there yet. She's hidden
What
somewhere.
does she do? Drinking. Glamming up. Okay.
Maybe drinking too.
Champagne and makeup.
Yes. With her bridesmaids, singing, having fun. And what they're gonna do to trick the groom, they're gonna put like a huge, maybe you can use like a drape or a piece of cloth or even a blanket, whatever, to cover maybe 4 ladies or 3 ladies or whatever, and bring them in front of the groom, including you. And he better choose you. They're gonna ask him, which one is your bride? And he better choose the right one.
Okay, so wait. Is it just the face that's covered? Like, can you see the body a little bit?
The whole body.
The whole body is covered.
And to trick you even more, they would choose ladies who have the same body type. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Did that happen?
That's what they do. They did it for me.
They did it for you?
Yeah.
No way.
In my case, he was confused, so he asked the advice of his big sister, and the sister led him wrong. She chose the wrong person. If you do, they're gonna ask for more money.
Okay.
They're gonna be like, oh, so you don't even know your wife? Well, you need to put another 10,000 on the money. They can just throw him out just because you made the wrong choice. But fortunately for him, the second time he chose right. But the first time he made the wrong choice because he didn't know who to choose, and he asked his big sister to choose for him, and she chose somebody else.
Did she know?
She didn't know.
She didn't know.
She didn't know. Okay. She thought it was me. She got
tricked too.
She got tricked, and he had to pay more money for that.
Wow, I love it.
Yes.
And the type of wedding, is it like Ballet, Benin, or what's the name of the wedding?
Well, it's just called
the culture.
The Dots.
Dots?
It's called the same thing in both cultures. Mine was, we had to represent both cultures, and they have different attires, different food. So we tried to, it was very well mixed. I had to go change, remove the Ballet attire and then put on the Benin attire. And guess what? His family also wanted me to wear the Burkina Faso attire. So I had to change. I changed myself maybe 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Was it just the one thing?
That was not even the civil wedding yet.
Yeah, that was not even the, you got a civil.
We haven't done that yet.
Coming up.
And
then you're going to have what kind of wedding in the future?
The civil one, the legal one. But the main reason why we haven't done that yet is because we want to do it back home. Because we feel like if we do it in America, there will be more people to bring over here. And with the visa, it's sometimes difficult. So it's going to be easier to bring the people from here to Africa because they won't have much visa issues,
Yeah. So you need a visa, or they need a visa to come to America.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes they don't get it.
And would it be a Ballet Benin wedding?
It will be both. It will be both. We have to represent all of it. All 3 of it.
Oh, that's beautiful, though.
Yeah.
It's going to be an amazing wedding, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well, before we're almost coming to an end, but I want to bring this back to our listeners. One of the questions we got is, how do you raise children to love their heritage in a country where they are surrounded by a different culture every day?
Well, I wouldn't say it's easy, but I just try my best to represent all sides, because I'm aware of the fact that one day they will become completely American, So I definitely don't skip that education, that culture. I bring on the table, I bring food from, all 3 cultures. I make them explore everything so they can make better choices later. So we just keep it genuine, natural. We speak whatever language comes first, whether it's French, English, whatever, and we just let them grow up in that confusing yet beautiful environment. And then, they'll make their own choices later.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
What are you most afraid of losing culturally?
I guess the fact that back home we were usually doing things as a group. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel like in America people are very solo writing. People are very by themselves until there's like a family reunion or whatever. And that's one thing that broke my heart when I first came to America, going to the grocery store and seeing somebody who is very, very, very old doing their own groceries by themselves. I didn't grow up like that back home. If you get to that age, you'll probably be at your children's place somewhere. You always have somebody in the family, taking care of you or whatever. And I definitely don't want to lose that community thing. Because me being in America, especially now I have a man, a whole family. I'm not by myself. Of course, I have my hands full. But before that, I was very much by myself, living by myself in my apartment. And I feel like this was starting to make me introverted. I was starting to enjoy it. which is not how I grew up. You know, I was always surrounded, and I don't want to lose that. I definitely want my children to grow up knowing that they will always have somebody around. Mom, dad, somebody will always be there. That's one thing I don't want to lose. Yeah, definitely.
That's very good. I love hearing you speak on that. How do you think the fact that most of your family is in another continent, how does that affect this environment that you're trying not to lose?
Yeah. So again, it was affecting me a lot when I was by myself, but now I don't really feel it because again, I have so many people in my house. So, but before, I was crying sometimes just because I'm not built to be by myself. It's just my personality. I'm a people person. I love being around people, always laughing and having fun and stuff like that. So me being by myself for years was very hard. And with the jet lag, it was sometimes difficult to have my mom or my sister on the phone because if I need them around 7 p.m., guess what? It's 5 hours later over there. So it was during the night. They were probably sleeping or something. And I would just serve me a glass of wine and cry just because I miss them. But it's great right now because, again, I have children now. I usually have my mom coming to America for a few months. Then she comes back. It's either my mom or my aunt and my husband. He's amazing. We're besties. We do everything together. And plus I have friends too. So it's great right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, what are you most excited for your children to gain with the type of exposure you're giving them?
I'm excited because I feel like they will be very, very open-minded because they have so many cultures to deal with, you know. They know the African side, and we also have a goal where we want to take them back home every 2 years, maybe every year if possible, because again, we don't want them to lose that aspect. We don't want them to lose that background. Plus, the other amazing part is the American culture, which is so different. So different. So to me, if you somehow get used to both, I mean, what a great plus. I mean, absolutely. I'm excited about who they're gonna be with all this cultural aspect. I can't wait to see who they're gonna be, what they're gonna be in the future.
To witness their growth.
Exactly.
Through, I mean, all
with that mix.
Yeah, the mix that you were able to give them. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Finally, where can people find you, connect with you about those recipes and learn from everything that you're sharing online?
So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok.
Okay.
YouTube as well. And it's Miss Louise, Loulou, Guedou for Facebook. Everything else is Miss Louise. And it's ms.lou, the number 8, ZE.
Perfect. Yeah. We'll add that in the show notes so everyone will have the links. Momu? Merci, Loulou.
Yes, exactly. Momo.
Momo.
Yes,
Momo.
yes,
Merci,
you got
Loulou,
it.
for sharing your story.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much. Really, your story reminds us that language, it's not just communication, it's inheritance, that food is memory and accents are strength, and we should honor them.
Absolutely.
I've learned too through your story that home can be in different places.
Yes.
And sometimes in French, sometimes in English, sometimes in Franglish, and sometimes in Ballet.
Yes.
But if you love this episode, share with someone that's raising bilingual children, either navigating immigration or just want to expose themselves to more culture. And in the meantime, keep exploring. Thank you for tuning in to From Where to Here. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who loves discovering new cultures. Follow us on Instagram at From Where to Here Pod for exclusive updates, behind the scenes moments, and a peek at upcoming guests. Until next time, keep learning, keep connecting, and keep celebrating the beauty of languages and cultures. À bientôt!